Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1973-76 Carryover League. Today we are in the second phase of round one of the postseason tournament. And this is where we begin the rather disappointing process, I guess you could say, of starting to eliminate either a third or fourth place team in each of the 8 divisions. Let's give you a quick recap of what has happened thus far. We look at the tourney. So in the first round, we know Baltimore, Detroit, the White Sox, and Oakland got to first place. Nothing really shocking there. In the National League, the Phillies got tested by Atlanta, and Atlanta tightened it up a little bit, but Phillies are still in first. Reds, a brutal series with the Pirates. They split 6 games, just 2 heavyweights. Colorado beat Portland in a yawner. I didn't even broadcast that one. And the Dodgers went back-to-back, beat the Giants in 2 separate series to be more of a convincing first-place team. They might have some legs this year. So now we begin the process of eliminating teams. And how do we do that? Well, a fourth place team in any division cannot make the playoffs because you have 4 division winners and 2 wild cards. So mathematically, there can't be a fourth. You could have 2 wild cards in the same division and a division winner, but you can't have a fourth place team. So that's what we're trying to do. The idea is you want to stay out of fourth place. And so there's a calculation done to determine what the teams need. But you also have to factor in, did the second place team play so poorly that they could fall in last place? So we check that first. Portland in the Mountain Time Zone finished 4 under 500 in second place. But our combatants today, Arizona and Las Vegas, start this series 4 under and 6 under. And the way you determine that is you take the combined records, divide it in half. That's -4, -6 is -10. Divide it in half. You can come out with 2 -5 teams, but Portland's -4. So Portland will stay in second place for the time being. Colorado will be in first place for however long it lasts. So we actually have elimination baseball between noteworthy teams. Vegas is noteworthy because they've won this division the last 2 years as a super expansion team. And by super expansion, I mean that Las Vegas doesn't have a baseball team. Meaning that Arizona and Colorado didn't have baseball teams during this timeline. But of course, we do know about the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Arizona is noteworthy because they started the year 0-10. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, they won 10 out of 14 to have a record of 10-14. I've never had a team go 0-10 to start one of these leagues, maybe 1-9. I've never had a team start 0-10, and I certainly haven't had a team start 0-10 and make the playoffs. So it's Arizona and Las Vegas, meaning that Arizona had home field when the 2 teams met before the All-Star break. And you see the +4, that means Arizona swept them 4 straight. Vegas is a game back. So the calculus is, if Vegas wins the series 4-3, they'd be tied, but Arizona have the tiebreaker. So Vegas would need a tie-breaking 8th game and win the series 5-3. Or put it easier, Vegas needs to get the 5 wins, and Arizona needs to get the 4 wins, and then one of these teams has to go home and stop playing baseball. So with that, Game 1, Arizona at Las Vegas. It's Bob Moose versus Jim Lonborg in this one. And it's a fun game. Vegas gets their runs in the 4th. Single walk. RBI single, Juan Beniquez. 2-run single, Ron Hodges. Not the most conventional names you'll find with expansion teams, of course. But the Diamondbacks come back in the 5th inning after a single and a couple outs. Braun singles and Merv Redmond with a 3-run homer. It's 3-3. Diamondbacks get a run in the 7th on an RBI single by Stevie Ray Braun. But in the bottom of the 9th, a sac fly by Sandy Alomar sends it to extra innings. Believe it or not, in extra innings, well, in the 10th inning, I should say, the Diamondbacks get 1 run, but Vegas gets 2 runs. So Vegas came back to tie at the 9th, lost the tie in the top of the 10th, but came back and not only tied it, but won it in the bottom of the 10th. Vegas wins 6-5. Max Leon, their all-star closer, collects the victory, and Tom Johnson gets a blown save, and then he gets a loss. Not a good day for Tom Johnson. Okay, so Vegas is up 1-0. They come back to the desert for Game 2. Jeff Zahn for Arizona. Ken Brett for Las Vegas. Really nice lefties, actually. All the scoring is in the 6th inning. You have a Hal Breeden, Arizona's all-star. It's a 2-run homer, 2-zip. Bottom of the inning, you get a Tommy Davis double and RBI single by Ed Brinkman. It's 2-1. But after that, the bullpens figure this thing out after Zahn leaves in the 7th. Dick Bainey pitches inning and 2/3. Darryl Knowles gets an out in the 9th, and Tom Johnson gets 2 outs in the 9th to collect a save and a road win for Arizona by a narrow margin of 2-1. Now we'll go to the desert. Joshua Tree. Vegas at Arizona, from one desert to another. Woody Fryman for Vegas versus Reggie Cleveland for Arizona. Another low-scoring game. Vegas is probably got the weakest offense in all of the sport, but they got outstanding, exceptional defense, and that's their strategy. It's not worked at all this year. Last 2 years it worked, not this year. In the 4th inning, they get a single, a walk, an RBI single, another walk, then you get a rare 4-2-3 infield up double play, no more scoring. Bottom of the 5th, you get a Mike Hegan homer. So Mike Hegan was with Oakland last year, got a World Series ring, but he leaves to be a big fish in a small pond in Arizona, or a small dried up lake bed, since I don't think there are any ponds in Arizona. Bottom of the 7th inning, though, Pedro Garcia Lorca with a solo shot off of Woody Fryman. It's 2-1, and again, Darryl Knowles and Tom Johnson come in the last couple innings. Tom Johnson gets a save, another save. So he has a loss and 2 saves in 3 games, but he hasn't pitched more than an inning. That takes us to game number 4. Can Vegas tie this series up? And unfortunately, no, because they have no offense at all, folks. They cannot score. If you can't score in baseball, you're not going to win. It's possible. Arizona got a 2-run homer by Mike Vail. Used to play for the Cubs, played for the Mets, I believe. Nice 2-run dinger. Always had a great bat. Not much of a glove. 2-run homer makes a winner out of Bruce Delcanton, a loser out of Paul Mitchell. This was a 3-pitcher shutout, as again, Knowles and Johnson came in the 9th after Delcanton exited with a shutout, not to pursue a complete game. So Arizona rips off 3 wins after losing game 1. They're up 3-1 in this series. Let's take a look at the overall standings. I know you're there watching with bated breath, wondering what's going on in the Midwest. Well, here we are, or the Mountain Time Zone. Here we are. Your Colorado Rockies and your Arizona Diamondbacks are tied for first, 2 games under 500. Arizona needs 1 more victory in this series, and we stop playing this series. If Vegas rips off 3 straight wins, then they play a 4th game. If they win that one, Arizona goes home. Seems highly unlikely. And then there's a possibility that Arizona could move into 2nd place or 1st place. And that's how the tournament works. I mean, it's an elevator that goes up and down. The Rockies beat Portland. They thought they were in 1st, and they were. That's what they played for. But it's quite possible that a team from the bottom half of the league, whoop, they go all the way up to the top and push the Rockies and the Rosebuds down. That's all right. And the reason that's okay is if you get to 1st place, you get to play a 1st place team in the 2nd round of the tourney. If you're in 2nd place, you play a 3rd place team in the tourney. So that's the reward you get for being in 1st if you get there. All right, enough of that. Let's get to Game 5 in the desert. Vegas at Arizona. It's a repeat of the Game 1 starters. For Vegas, Jim Lonborg. He had a great 72 card with the Milwaukee Brewers, I believe. Vegas had that card in expansion, and then they improved it to a Philadelphia card in 74. 17 wins, a 321 ERA, and 283 innings. In Arizona, they got the Moose. On the loose, Bob Moose, the tragic tale of Bob Moose, who perished in the 1970s before his 30th birthday, but Arizona's going to hold on to him until he's not around to help them anymore. Bob Moose versus Jim Lonborg. From the desert. Which one? The Arizona desert. Joshua Tree and Vegas at the Taj Mahal. I don't know. Lake Powell or something like that. I don't know. Leading off for Vegas is Sandy Alomar. 3-6 is a base hit. This team loves to steal bases, hit and run because, frankly, rolling their cards is not a whole lot of fun. Alomar will attempt a stolen base. He steals on a 3. What's the T rating of Ed Herman? It's 1-12, and he gets the T rating. Alomar ends up at 3rd base. It's Greg Gross. 2-5 is a walk. They're on the corners for Tommy Davis. 68, base hit left field, and just like that, Vegas has 3 guys reach probably the best start they've ever had this year. 1st and 2nd with a run in. It's Tom Hutton. Batting cleanup. Even he's surprised to be batting cleanup. 410 short X. Mario Mendoza's a 2E30 on this team, and it's a double play off the 2 defense. Runner goes to 3rd with 2 outs. Juan Beniquez, and that's a single off the Moose card, and it's 2-zip. And Beniquez is going to attempt a stolen base, and he steals 2nd. See what I mean with these stolen bases? Ken Boswell, 63, rolls back to the mound. 2-0. Had Vegas scored 2 runs in the last 2 games, well, I'd still be playing. But they couldn't do that. Arizona had 2-0 and 2-1 victories. Leading off for the Diamondbacks is Merv Retman. 211 flies to right. Stevie Ray Braun, 54, pops to 2nd. And Hal Breeden. 2-6 is a K. Top of 2. Ken Berry. 39 is a ground ball to short. Ron Hodges, 47, is a single. Ed Brinkman, 67 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Sandy Alomar. 39 is a fly to right. Bottom of the 2nd, it's Dave May. 6-12 off Lonborg, rolls to the mound. John Knox, 53, rolls to 1st. Mike Vail, 39, is a K. Top of the 3rd. Greg Gross, 39. That's a walk. Tommy Davis. 2-5 is a single to right field. Gross has 14 wheels. Right fielder has a -2 arm. He'll stay at 2nd. Tom Hutton, 1-6, is a 4-6-3 double play. That's a killer for this team. They've had 2 double plays in this game. They absolutely cannot afford to do that. They don't have that kind of offense to produce runs. And Benitez strikes out. Speaking of that, let me just kind of go through the power department here. Alomar hit a homer. Gross didn't. Tommy Davis had 7. Hutton batted cleanup. He had a homer. Benitez had 5. Ken Boswell, nope, didn't have one. Ken Berry, he had 3. Ron Hodges had a homer. And Ed Brinkman had 7. On the bench, you have Mike Anderson, who had 9. Aurelio Rodriguez, who had 9. Barry Foote had 11. That is an expensive price to pay to specifically pursue defense and not have any power whatsoever. It sounds like that Houston Astros team that played in the Astrodome and hit like 30 homers all year long, wherever it was. Bottom of the third. Maybe that's what it is in Las Vegas. They got this, because it's so hot, they got this indoor dome stadium, and center field's like 450 feet away or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, bottom of the third inning. It's Ed Herman, 68, pops to short. Mike Hegan, 1-8, Ks. And Mario Mendoza, 44. Off the Lonborg card is a homer, but he doesn't have power, so it's a single. And your tie run is Merv Rittman. 110, flies left. Top of the fourth. It's Ken Boswell, 212, Lomax. Ken Berry, 1-7, base hit. Ron Hodges, 58, flies to center, and with 2 outs, Ed Brinkman, 69, double 1 to 15 as a base hit. They're on the corners for leadoff man, Sandy Alomar. 2-3, flies to right. Bottom of the fourth, it's Stevie Ray Braun. 2-6 is double 1 to 3, base hit. Your tie run, all-star designated hitter, Hal Breeden. 64 off Lonborg, third X. And unfortunately, that great defense is on the bench today, trying to get some offense. So Aurelio Rodriguez, a 1E13 third baseman, is on the bench. Mike Anderson, a 1E7 right fielder, he's on the bench. Hal Breeden hits the ball to Kenny Boswell, who's a 4E34. Whoops. It's going to be a double. Second and third. You know, Vegas, I tell you what, they had 2 wonderful years, shocking everybody, and going to the playoffs in the worst division in baseball. And now finally, you know, they play a schedule where they aren't getting the breaks, and it looks bad. Dave May, 3-6. Let's take a look at the Dave May card. He was a Brewer in 1973. This is the best Dave May card. I think he started with Baltimore. And he would not last through the Brewers' heyday of the Harvey Wallbangers. But he's pretty nice in the mid-70s as they're trying to win some games. 303, 25 dingers, and 670 plate appearances. 3-6, automatic homer Dave May, and the Diamondbacks grab a 3-2 lead. John Knox, 46, double 1 to 9's a double. Mike Vail, 47, double 1 to 10. They're all over Lonborg in the fourth with an RBI single. It started slowly, but it's taken off for the Diamondbacks, who are on a scorching. They're on a burner, folks. They were 0-10. And now they could be 13-5 since. Or no, they are 13-5 since. They could be 14-5 since. Ed Herman, 64, third X. And again, the 4E23 third baseman. It's a single dot on the 4-ness. On the corners for Mike Hegan, 48. Base hit off Lonborg, and it looks like Lonborg has some plans for the offseason, and the manager's not particularly interested in getting him out of there either. And we're seeing the first attempt at a tank job, folks. Could Vegas get the first pick in the draft? They had it once And they took Blue Moon Odom with that pick when they had the first overall pick when he was really good in 69 with the Oakland A's. Long time ago, but anyway, that's a story for another day. 2 on, still nobody out for Mario Mendoza. 1-6 Ks. Merv Retman. 57 is another K. So they're going to leave runners here unless Stevie Ray Braun gets on for a second time. 311, he flies to center. So they blow the 2 on and no one out, but they still have a 5-2 lead. A 3-run lead versus Vegas is extremely comfortable. We go to the 5th. It's Greg Gross. 67, second X. Your second baseman today is Stevie Ray Braun, a 4E30. And he makes the play. And if you're wondering, Arizona has horrible defense just about everywhere on this team. So Braun's a 4E30 at second. You got John Knox, a 4E37 at third. Mike Vale's a 4E13 in the left. Good news is they have Mario Mendoza. Nice little shortstop. Forget about the batting average, the Mendoza line. He's a 2. He's a 2 shortstop. Mike Higgins a 2 at first. Dave May's a 2-2 in center. Merv Retman's a 2 in right. So it's keep one eye open, keep one eye closed when it comes to defense. Tommy Davis, 35 is a single. Tom Hutton, 3-5 is a walk, and your tie run is Juan Beniquez. 66 off Moose is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Ken Boswell. 610, oh my goodness, homer 1-8. Well, he doesn't have any power. He can't hit a home run. That's a home run if you have power. Your number 6 hitter, he doesn't have it, so it's a single, and it's 5-3. Runners on the corners for Ken Berry. 2-5 is a ground ball to third. So Bob Moose survives 5 pretty rocky innings, and it's a 5-3 lead. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Hot, parched in one of these deserts. I mean, desert baseball in July, August. Whew, hot. Anyway, Las Vegas, do they have a baseball team now? Aren't they getting the Athletics? Are they in Sacramento? I don't know. Anyway, I don't keep up with the modern thing too much. Anyway, bottom of the 5th, it's Hal Breeden, 43, first X. Tom Hutton's a 1E4. Now that is what you get for. That's what you go and get. You get Tom Hutton. Sure, he hit 1 home run and he's batting cleanup, but he's a 1E4 first baseman. Dave May, who provided the power in the 4th, 55 walks. John Knox, what a great baseball name that is, flies to center field. And with 2 outs, Mike Vale, 55, second X. And Sandy Alomar's a 2E19. Just to review the defense, we have to celebrate a little bit of what Las Vegas can do. What they can do is they can have a 1E4 at first, a 2E19 at second. Ed Brinkman's a 2E26 at short. Last year he was a 1E8 with that brilliant Detroit Tiger card of 72. Aurelio Rodriguez is a 1E13 at third base. Greg Gross, a 2E1 in left field. That's almost a 1. That's pretty much as close as a 1 as you can get, a 2E1. You got a 1E1 in center field in Ken Berry and a 1E7 in right field, Mike Anderson. So that's what Vegas is capable of doing defensively. Yeah, it's not working. 5-3 in the 6th. Moose will continue. It'll be Ron Hodges. 69 off of Moose. Here we go again. Triple 1-5, double. That's a triple. And I don't think he's going to face another lefty. Ed Brinkman. 3-6 is a ground ball to short. The run will score with a 2-run lead. So it's 5-4 now, and it's Alomar and Gross. I've seen enough of Bob Moose. 5 1/3, very shaky innings. Put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 men on base of the worst offense in the league. There has to be something better than that. We're going to go Steve Stone. Mostly because he hasn't pitched in the series yet. He could use some work. Steve Stone was a White Sox in 1973, 6-11 with a 4.29 ERA in 176 innings. Giants didn't want him anymore. Frankly, the White Sox don't want him anymore. I don't know who's going to want him. Arizona, the plan is to hold on to Steve Stone until his 1980 season with Baltimore, where he wins 25 games. That's the plan. I know it seems a little bit out in the future, out in the distance a little bit, but hey, a 25-game winner for an expansion team, that'd be pretty cool. So here comes Steve Stone with 1 out in the 6th inning. And he will face Sandy Alomar in a 5-4 game. Here's the pitch. 54 off Stone is center X. This is Dave May. A 2-E-10 in center makes the catch. And with 2 outs, it's Greg Gross. 44, catcher's X. Your catcher today, Ed Herman's a 3-E-12. And he makes the play. 5-4 game. Vegas, I tell you what. All things said, they have played it tough. They haven't been blown out. And even when they look like they were about to get blown out, you know, I mean, yeah, they're right there. Always been right there. 2-1, 2-0, 5-4. They're right there, but they're just, yeah, they are what they are. Lonborg, now we got a conundrum. He thought he was going fishing earlier. Now he could pitch his team into another game or 2 or 3 or 4 if he's not careful. But he's a starter 8. He is their ace. We have to lean on him. Bottom of the 6th, it's Ed Herman. 1-9. Triple 1-2-8 on 1-9. That's a triple for Ed Herman. Let's take a look at the Ed Herman card. What is going on? Ed Herman, he's an 8 runner. How'd you get a triple? Well, he didn't have a triple. He had 2 of them. In 200 at-bats in 1975. So they put triple 1-2-8 on the roll of 1-9. I'm assuming Arizona, like a rattlesnake, must have like darted out of the outfield brush and scraped up against the ball or something, and it took a while to beat it down with a stick so they could throw the ball back into the infield. And by that time, Ed Herman was at third base or something like that. But Ed Herman's at third. Vegas will bring the infield up for Mike Hegan. 53, first C, but the runner holds with the infield up. Now you got Mario Mendoza. 34 rolls to the pitcher. Again, the runner holds. And with 2 outs, back up top to Merv Retman. Mervin, 53, right X, out in right field. Again, the defense. It's Beniquez, a 3-E-10. And he surrenders a single because, again, Mike Anderson and Aurelio Rodriguez are not in the game. Whoops! And that's another run, and it is 6-4. Stevie Ray Braun, 1-3, grounds to third. Well, trying to get some offense, trying to get a spark, trying to change their fortunes because the all-defense thing was not working, and now they really could have used some defense at key moments in this game, and they could have the lead. Sometimes you just, no choice, all choices are bad choices. Steve Stone now has a 2-run lead in the 7th. And it'll be Hal Breeden leading off. No, Tommy Davis leading off. 45, second X. Your second baseman is Stevie Ray Braun. He's a 4. He makes the play on his 4-ness. Tom Hutton, 45. Second X again. 4, you plug in the 34. He makes the play again. So in a cruel tale of defenses, Arizona's horrible defense is making plays, while Vegas's very good defense is coughed up in a couple spots. Beniquez, 57's a single, and with 2 outs, it's Ken Boswell. 46 is a walk, and with 2 outs and 2 on, it's Ken Berry. 35 is another walk, and with 3 on and 2 outs, it's Ron Hodges. 62, comebacker to the mound. Oh boy, Vegas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 men on base in 7 innings. They've only scored 4. That might be a high point of base runners. 6-4 game, stretch time here in the 7th inning. We're enjoying this wonderful mix of Zeppelin called Zeppish. It's basically a couple tunes, just 1 or 2 songs off of all their LPs. So it's a cool little mix. It's about 32 songs off like 15 records or something like that. And yeah, just a nice little random bit of Zeppelin. You don't get a lot of bands outside of the U.S. because normally we have bands associated with the baseball town, music that might be a band that hails from there. But in the case of Arizona, they're just into Zeppelin, I guess. And so they changed the jukebox. It used to be the Flying Burrito Brothers. It used to be Graham Parsons and the Fallen Angels because of Joshua Tree and the saga of Graham Parsons. But unfortunately, much like it dragged Graham down, the Joshua Tree also dragged the Diamondbacks down, and they were losing. They were 0-10. Then we switched the jukebox to Zeppelin, and they have been rolling ever since. So, yeah, they're going to keep the music going. Baseball is all about, Lucky Charms and good luck charms and stuff like that. And so Arizona, they're letting this music play as long as they continue to win. Bottom of the 7th inning. Lonborg's going to go out for another one. It's Hal Breeden. 5'11", second X. Alomar's a 2E19. Makes the play. It's Dave May. 57 is second X. Oh, same thing, 2E19. And with 2 outs, John Knox, 64, third X. And this is the 4E23 third baseman. That's a base hit. Running for John Knox, the new second baseman, Pedro Garcia Lorca, pinch run, and Mike Vail. 3-10, single 1-2. He gets it. He's got single 1-2, and he just hit it. And now the dangerous Ed Herman. Look for another triple right now, Ed. 48 off Lonborg is a single to left field. We got to run Pedro Garcia Lorca. He's a 15, 16, 17 off the gross arm. 18, and he scores on a 17. It is 7-4. Now you got Mike Hegan. 47, there's another base hit, and I think that'll score another run. I think this is about, 6 2/3. Chin Lonborg is basically saying, we are done. You might have thought we weren't, but yeah, we are. Trust me, we're done. Okay, stick a fork in us. Okay, I gotcha. He's contemplating who the first overall pick in the draft will be next year and be his teammate. Coming out of the Vegas bullpen is Danny Frisella. Danny was a nice New York Met pitcher. Always good as a righty getting lefties out. Now he's a Padre in 1975. 3.12 ERA in 98 innings. Still very good against those left-handed batters. Danny Frisella will come on in the 7th. And he will face Mario Mendoza. 2 on, 2 outs. 43, left X, but it's Greg Gross, a 2E1. Makes the catch. 8-4 game. Our boy Stone, he can go 3rd inning. It'll be Ed Brinkman leading off, down 4 in the 8th. 34, he grabs a walk off his card. Sandy Alomar, 67 off Stone as a K. Greg Gross, 57, single 1-5. Catches it on a 4. This team's not giving up. Tommy Davis, 1-6, triple 1-5, single not down to the single. It's 8-5. Don't know where these hits are suddenly coming. I guess they smell the end of their season and they want to get their hits in. Runners on the corners in an 8-5 game. And we're going to let Steve Stone lose this thing. We're just going to leave him in here for the whole inning, see if he can actually lose the game. Tom Hutton, runners in the corners in an 8-5 game. Here's the pitch. 1-4, center B question mark. Do you want to cut the lead to 2? Gross. He's a 14, 15, 16. Minus 2 is a 14. I think you got to do it. You got to try and get closer by a couple of runs and extend this inning or get to within 2 by the 9th. So he's going to try and tag up here. And he scores on a 1. So the tagging up worked, and it's 8-6. 2 outs now, and your tie run is the batter, Juan Beniquez. 1-8. Let's take a look at the Juan Beniquez card. He was a Boston Red Sox in 74, and he played the outfield. That is not good news. Why? Well, because Boston has some guys named Dwight Evans, Freddie Lynn, Rick Miller, Carl Yastrzemski, Tommy Harper. There's too many. Yeah, it wasn't going to work out. So Beniquez was looking for work, and he got work here in the desert with Vegas. 1-8, triple 1-2-8, single dot dot. And that puts runners on the sun score run. It just puts runners on the corners with 2 outs. Tie run at first. Lead run is Ken Boswell. Do we pinch hit a guy with power? Just to get a... Yeah, let's just pinch hit one of the few guys with power on this team. We're going to go Barry Foote. Barry Foote will pinch hit for Boswell. Let's take a look at Barry Foote. He actually had 11 home runs. Mostly plays versus lefties, but pretty good versus righties as well. He was with the Expos in 74. Of course, they would get Gary Carter, so they wouldn't hold on to Barry Foote. He ends up playing for the Cubs for a while also. He will be the pinch hitter, and Stone will actually leave now after 2 1/3 innings. So that's 5, 6, 7 2/3. Yep, 4 outs to get. And Dick Bainey will come on in the 8th to face Barry Foote. Dick Bainey, let's take a look at him. He was a Cincinnati Red in 1973 with a 2.90 ERA in 31 innings. Dick Bainey against Barry Foote with a tying runs on base. Foote's the lead run. Here's the pitch to Barry Foote. 48 off Bainey is a pop to first. Bottom of the 8th. Frisella continues. It's Merv Retman. Actually, let's see. Foote will catch. Or actually, do you want Hodges to bat versus Bainey? Well, the problem is if they bring in Darryl Knowles, then Hodges is like an automatic out. So Barry Foote will stay in the game. They need a third baseman. They'll put Aurelio Rodriguez in the Hodges spot. Okay. Bottom of the 8th. It's Merv Retman. 2-9 grounds to short. Stevie Ray Braun, 1-4. Flies to right. And Hal Breeden, 67. 1-11. Lines out on a 13. Any more defense they could bring in? No. We go to the 9th of an 8-6 game. It's Ken Berry, Aurelio Rodriguez, Ed Brinkman, and then the top. Bainey will continue. He's good against righties. So here we go with Ken Berry, a 2-run lead. 3-10, flies to center. Aurelio Rodriguez, 1-8, lines a second. And the season in Vegas is down to Ed Brinkman. Let's take a look at Ed Brinkman's card. So, he really was the star, I have to say, of this team a year ago because he had the 1-E8 defense at short. And my goodness, so many times you put some men on with 1 out, ground ball short X, innings over. And that's what Ed Brinkman did for the 72 Tigers that outlasted Baltimore in the American League East, particularly as Baltimore couldn't hit a lick. So a lot of low-scoring baseball in 1972. Brinkman's no longer a 1. He won't be a 1 anymore, but he's still a 2E26 shortstop, and he hit .237 with 7 home runs with this card. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, top of the 9th, should say. Here's your pitch to Ed Brinkman. 67 off Bainey is a single, and the game continues. Now you have leadoff man Sandy Alomar. Let's take a look at him. Well, he can't hit a home run against a righty. He had one of them against a lefty. He was a Yankee in 74 with a 261 average, the heir apparent to Horace Clarke. But that heir wouldn't last long because by the time 76 rolled around, Alomar would lose his job to Willie Randolph. Here's your pitch to Sandy Alomar. 3-6 is a single left field. This game continues on. I got to count these hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22 base runners have reached for Las Vegas, down 2 in the ninth. And it's Gray Gross with 2 on and 2 outs. Let's take a look at Gray Gross's card. He was a Houston Astro in 74. He was a full-time, again, not a pinch hitter. He was a full-time outfielder and a darn good one. 2E1 defense in the outfield. He had 660 plate appearances, hit .314, and did not hit a home run. And if you're not going to hit a home run and that many plate appearances and play the outfield, you're not going to keep your everyday gig. And eventually he just became a role player after that. 2 on, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Gray Gross. 49 off of Bainey is a fly ball to right field. And Vegas gave it their best shot. And that wasn't good enough. And there is that. And that is that. And there's much joy in Arizona as they've just won 4 out of 5 games. And if you're wondering if I don't sound excited, it's because it's generally fruitless to ponder what happens next to these teams. But it's entertainment nonetheless. And that's what we do here, folks. We just entertain. We'll take you through the box and so forth. Danny Frazzella got 4 perfect outs. Lonborg loses, 14 hits and 8 runs. Everything was earned. A walk and 5 strikeouts. Nice 4-out save for Dick Bainey. Got Barry Foote out, gave up a couple hits in the ninth. Steve Stone made it interesting. He gave up a hit and 2 walks, and then 3 more hits, 2 hits, 2 runs, and another walk. Didn't strike anybody out. Oh, he did. He struck 1 batter out. Moose does get the win. He gave up 10 hits and 4 runs. 3 were earned. Walked 3, struck out 3. All of Vegas should be kicking themselves. 1019, 0108, 814, 616. 64151564. Vegas put 22 men on base. Arizona put 15 men on base and wins 8-6 in a game that I've already forgotten about. So that's that. Game 5. But you know what? It's been forever, and by forever I mean, I don't know, when Arizona's ever done anything in the carryover league. I don't know if they've ever won the division before. So this is clearly the best version of the Arizona Diamondbacks we've seen, and they're a couple games under 500. But they're in first place, I believe. Yeah, they are. They're -1, which means Vegas is -9, right? 11 and 20, yeah. So this is a change in the standings. That's why, what's that expression I always say? That's why you play the games, folks. That's why you roll the dice. You don't just take for granted what's going to happen. We had a team start 0-10. 0-10. Let's go check them out. Those guys. Those guys right there. 0-10 to start the year. That would write off everybody. They lost 3 straight to the Phillies. They lost 3 straight to the Pirates. They got swept by the Rockies 4 straight. And then they beat Portland. They beat Vegas twice. And they won interleague battle against Milwaukee, I believe. And they're presently in first place. And I'll show you what we do setting up the next round for this team. 14 and 15, 11 and 20. So let's go here. We'll plug in the result. Here is the row here. Vegas needed a 5-3. Didn't come close. Arizona gets a 4-1. Arizona is 14 and 15. And Vegas 11 and 20. Oops, 11 and 20. And so you have minus 10. We knew it was minus 10 at the very beginning of this video when I mentioned, is there a scenario where these two teams can play a quantity of games that eliminates Portland? And we knew that was not the case. So it stays at it'll always be a minus 10 when you're playing each other. So Vegas is done. They will get their own elimination video coming soon. Arizona is now in first place with a record of 14 and 15. Congratulations! You get to play the Dodgers. Have fun. So Arizona, -1, plays the 10 over 500 Dodgers. So they're 5.5 games back. Well, they got to win. They got to beat the Dodgers 6 in a row. If the Diamondbacks can beat the Dodgers 6 in a row, they can stay in first place. Good luck with that. Now, Portland, on the other hand, they become, Portland becomes the third place team, 4 under 500. And they will go in the, here we are, the third place teams. They'll go out west at 4 under 500. And Colorado will be here as a second place team. And Colorado is 2 under 500. And the point here is to see if a third place team can knock a second place team out. Most of the time they can't, but it's still, sometimes a third place team in one division is better than a second place team in another division. So we have a lot of information here from last year. We're just starting this round of the tournament. So there's still a lot more information to collect before you can make any assumptions about how the season will go. But break up the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are in a pretty good, they got a reasonable good chance of making the playoffs. There's probably just going to be one division winner, probably them or Colorado. Who knows? They might actually win the wild card round. You never can tell. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.